And why did you choose to take part? What was the reasons behind that?
There's loads of reasons that I wanted to take part in the study. I think that one of them was, purely it piqued my curiosity. I think that the level of testing that you get invited to do that privately, people would pay a lot of money for it, wouldn't they?
It's like a health check almost, isn't it? Like,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was in really bad shape at the time. I was massively overweight. I wasn't doing a great deal with my life, sort of physically at least. Obviously I was working and things like that, but I wasn't really looking after myself. And yeah, I was just
down to your injury, or do you think that was just your life at the time? Because sometimes you just can't get to that point of like exercising and things like that. Or
I think my injury was a convenient excuse. I think that when I got out of the military, I became very career focused. I really wanted to because my options were quite limited. I didn't do particularly well at school. And I sort of found a bit of momentum working in sort of youth work and education. And all I really wanted to do was that. Because I was so overweight and so unhealthy, just going to work alone, it was absolutely flooring me. I didn't have time, or I didn't make time for anything outside of that really. And then it's just a bit of a vicious circle. But
yeah,
I wouldn't say that my injury was the reason. I'd say that I allowed it to be, if that makes sense.
Yes, of course. Yeah. So when you came to advance and they did all the checks, that kind of made you think, actually, I'm going to change that.
Yeah, it was the results from the DEXA scan more than anything. It was a massive eye opener for me. Like, I knew I was out of shape. Do you know what I mean? That wasn't lost on me. I was in sort of triple XL clothing.
Wow.
I don't think I knew how bad it was. And not just my weight, just my overall health. Like, I was doing the sort of baseline testing and the sort of things that I don't think about. How far can you walk in 6 minutes? I don't think I'd walked for 6 consecutive minutes in years, if I'm honest with you. And it wasn't very far that I could walk. And it was like, I remember driving home from it just thinking like, how have I got myself into this situation where I'm absolutely shattered and there is nothing physically demanding asked of you as study. And I was in a bad way driving home. I was like, I'm really tired. Like, it's only about an hour and a half drive, and I had to have a stop because I was knackered. And I was like, yeah, I need to start firing and get myself sorted, really.
Oh, that's quite a cool thing to hear, that kind of pushed you into doing that. And what kind of impact has it had on your life? So obviously you told us about the fact that it made you think, I need to exercise more and eat better. Is there anything else that might have been impacted by that?
Yeah, honestly, in terms of how it's impacted my life, it was probably, if I look back, probably the single moment that got me to where I am now. Obviously, it's not solely responsible for it, but that moment of realizing that I wasn't doing particularly well, which came as a result of it. Obviously, I lost 11 stone in weight. I put a little bit back on now, but that's intentional. I maybe took it a little bit too far. Got a bit skinny. So it's completely changed that side of my life, and then that has obviously had a massive knock-on effect in other aspects of my life as well. So, I'm just a miles better dad as a result of it. I'd never taken my son to the park or for a walk. It just wasn't something that would enter my head. That was something that I'd let his mum do essentially. But now I do that, at least once a week. We're doing things like that, probably more. Career-wise, I realised that essentially the job that I was in, I was only there because it was convenient, because it wasn't physically demanding. And that's allowed me to challenge myself. I left the job that I was in, started my own business. That's absolutely thriving. I realised that, just my whole situation I wasn't happy with. I've actually got divorced since then as well, which might sound like a negative, but I think that both myself and my wife was really unhappy. And it's something that probably needed to change, and maybe wouldn't have done had I not sort of had that little awakening, I guess. So yeah, it's been 3 years and my life's almost unrecognisable compared to sort of the day before I went into the initial study, I guess.